let me start again. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here for the State Network Certification Training. This is our second year we're doing certifications for the Women's Council across the state and local networks. So we're really happy to have you here. We asked the national liaisons to lead the training this year since they are working so closely with U.S. state leadership already. And it's just my pleasure to be here. I'm Chris Lee, the national president-elect. I guess I missed that part. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to our national liaisons for this year. And as you know, we are recording. So if you're seeing this now and you're joining us here today, but want to catch it later, we'll put it in our leadership library. So that link will go out probably next week after Elevate. And if you know someone on your state line that wasn't able to make it for some reason, then you'll be able to share that link with them as well so they can revisit the recording here. So thank you very much. I would like to first introduce Sabrina Brown, because she's right there on my screen. And she is our national liaison for the Central Region. Thank you, Sabrina. Good afternoon. Christine Citrano is our national liaison for the Western Region. And Carolyn Altman, that just had to leave us unexpectedly, is our national liaison for the Eastern Region. So thank you all for being here. We're very excited to have you. At this point, just a real quick, we're going to launch into the training. There's going to be some breakout and interactive portions. We're going to ask you to allow the national liaisons to go through their presentation. We will do questions at the end. So go ahead and save those up or put them in the chat box, but they may actually answer some of those questions as they go along. So we'll take the questions at the end just to kind of give you the format. And I would also ask your permission, if you please share your questions and ask them here. If it is something that is very specific to a particular network or a particular situation that is very detailed, I would ask that you contact your national liaison directly and work with them, and they may already be aware of whatever your scenario is, but just to keep us all engaged on a little higher level in a conversation that can include everybody, and not too much into the weeds about a one-off situation, which we definitely want to address, but that might be better in a one-on-one conversation. Will that be okay with everybody here? I see some nodding. Okay, great. Thank you all. So at this point, since it's not an official meeting, I will turn in the presentation over to the national liaisons for your attention, and thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Chris.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. As Carolyn has an emergency to deal with, Sabrina and I are going to juggle her role here. So I will begin. We are on the slide network tools. And now is the time to bring out, if you have, and I hope you have, the printed state certification program so that you can follow along with us as we go and jot down notes as you want, maybe even questions you want to ask towards the end. Currently, the local networks are in training, so we highly recommend you review their recording once it is available. So this slide, it is essential to have good, Sabrina, you're just a pace ahead of me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's all right. It's good. It's all good. So it is essential to have good tools, but it is also essential that the tools should be used in the right way. So said Wallace Wattles, and I think we all can agree with that. Tools are great. Using the tools is even greater. So the role of the state network. A state network will be focused solely on delivering a value to the local networks and the members in the following areas. Identification and development of leaders to complement and enhance local and national efforts. Remember, as a leader, not only are you responsible for your role this year, you're also responsible for creating the bench for those who are coming after you. 2, development of industry relations and collaboration as the voice of women in real estate, including relationships within organized real estate and with related industry organizations. We all work better together. 3 would be delivery of a consistent Women's Council brand and messaging. And the 4th element would be the development and support of local networks. That includes local leader orientation and training, facilitation of local leader networking and collaboration, local network issue management and compliance, and of course, development of new networks. So who is eligible to apply? Every state network is eligible to apply for the certification. Every president should apply. The current state president of the network must be the one who submits the application. Presidents need to submit the reports. However, the president-elects need to be very involved because remember, they are going to be doing this next year. And another aspect of the president's role is to be training your president-elect so that next year they can succeed. This is your roadmap to have a successful year as president. Next slide. What are the benchmarks? This is a great graph. It shows you the benchmarks for both state certification and, crucially important, local certification. So you have 5 benchmarks that the state must meet and, again, the local must meet. Member services and network services, leadership development and engagement, administration and governance, communication, and finally, recruitment and retention. When? August 1st to October 1st. Some elements of this certification process will not be able to be addressed until later in the year. Reporting of elections results, giving the number, the count of membership. How many new members did you get? What was your total when you started? What is your total when you end? So a lot of this information that is going to be required of this certification program will not be available towards the end of the year. So this really is a year-long process for your local networks as well as you as a state network. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. Why? Do you have a restaurant that you like? Okay. It is just down the street, and sometimes the food is good, but not always. And the service is a toss-up. So you never know what you are going to get. And then you have a restaurant across town. It may even take you 30 minutes or more to get there, but it's your favorite. The food is consistently delicious. The service is superb, and it may even be a little more expensive. You will drive right past that closer restaurant to the better restaurant because you know the experience you're going to have is going to be better. Price and value are not necessarily the same thing. When you combine both excellence plus consistency, you create truly exceptional value. And if that isn't enough of a reason why, here are some more. Participating certified networks are entitled to the following benefits. Yes, there are great benefits to this. Recognition at the awards ceremony at our national conference in November. Electronic badge for display on microsites and other network materials and publications. Acknowledgement on wc.org and noted as a certified network. And of course, press releases created by National for network distribution to media outlets. We recognize that we have rolled out the local network model and the state network model with the assumption of live events. For the past 2 years, we have transitioned into virtual, hybrid, and a few live events. Even with the various delivery options, you can still provide exceptional member value. The certification program is tangible and practical. It will make sure that your networks are achieving certain benchmarks that deliver this value to your members. So where and how? Networks will fill out an application. It is done in a JOT format, which serves as a self-assessment tool to determine whether the network is meeting and exceeding basic benchmarks that adhere to both the network model and completion of tasks and achievements that meet and exceed standards. The state certification program and this training will be divided into two different parts, just like running the state network requires two different parts, development and support of local networks and running the state network. We will discuss the facilitation of the local network certification and the completion of your own state certification. Our time is limited, so we will dive into the easier of the two of the items first so that we have plenty of time to discuss the local networks. We promise to discuss the state report quickly but efficiently, and we'll stay to answer all your questions at the end. So if you have any questions, jot it down in the chat or better yet on the paper, and we will answer them at the end. So let's go. As we discussed, there are 5 benchmarks in the state report. The first area is network services. We will briefly discuss this one point, but about half of today's training will be on this topic, including breakout sessions and group sharing, which we will be doing shortly. In order for a state to receive state certification, more than 50% of their local networks must be certified. Again, at least 50% of local networks must be certified. So please fill out each benchmark. State networks that submit certification paperwork earlier in this application cycle with specific milestones that are not met by the submission date, but expected to be completed, should denote pending anticipated completion date by fill in the date, and National will verify that milestones were completed once that is done. In order for a state to receive state certification, I just read all of this. It's right back down here again. I can repeat it. Shall I? Anybody want to raise their hands? Say it again, Christine. All right, we're going to go to the next slide, please. Leadership development engagement. This benchmark ensures connectivity and engagement with other women's council entities, including local, state, and national. Leadership development and engagement. This benchmark ensures connectivity and engagement with other women's council entities. The state president attends a minimum of, it says here 2, but my note said 1, and I believe the new rule is 1 national flagship event. So an example would be Elevate, which is actually happening tomorrow and Friday. That is one event that you can attend. Mid-year in Washington, D.C., which is in May. And by the way, make a note on your calendar, registration opens up for mid-year on February 16th at 12 noon Central Standard Time. Or third, the national conference, which is in November, and this year it will be in Orlando. Enter the president's name, which event was attended, and or registered for, and then National will verify. The state network provides an orientation to all 2022 leadership teams in the first quarter of the year by, here's a date, March 31st, 2022, or in the fourth quarter of 2021 if it was already done. If you attended the New Year kickoff held on the 14th of January, this does fulfill that orientation requirement. If the benchmark was not met, you may request a copy of the recording at jsaltman@wcr.org, and viewing the recording must be completed by that same date, March 31st, 2022, and then enter when and where the event was held, and it is subject to verification by National. So again, if you were unable to attend the kickoff, you will need to reach out to Jamie Saltman at jsaltman@wcr.org, and she will email you a copy, a link to the recording, and then you can watch it and thereby meet that benchmark. The state network participates in national leadership identification and development programs in a comprehensive and timely manner. Enter the date the state recommendations were submitted to National by deadline dates, and National will verify. National will verify all of this information. I know it's hard to believe this, but the 2023 president and the 2023 state liaison attend the Network 360 in July of 2022. You will want to enter the names of the people who attended, and again, they will be verified. Administration and governance. This benchmark, pretty obvious. It ensures operational excellence and thorough administration to ensure network continuity annually. The 2022 officers were formally reported to National by December 31st, 2021, using the online form, and you would have entered the date the officers were reported. The affiliation agreement is signed by February 14th, coming up, Valentine's Day. National will verify. Enter the date affiliation agreement was submitted. The treasurer filed taxes on time, subject to verification by National. You want to enter the date the taxes were filed. And the 2023 elections are completed, and the names are submitted to National no later than October 31st, 2022. You want to enter the date the 2023 officers' names were sent to National using the online form or expected submission date, and National will verify. Strategic plan. This will be submitted to your national liaison, either myself, Sabrina, or Carolyn, prior to November 1st, 2022. Enter the date or expected date that your strategic plan was sent and to whom it was sent, and National will verify. Network utilizes an electronic file share system. This ensures the officer teams obtain historical administrative paperwork, relevant information, and other tools to ensure continuity of operations. And in the breakout rooms, we'll talk about this a little bit in a little bit more detail as far as what types of electronic filing systems you may be using. The network has officer positions filled and or replace officers should you have vacancies in a timely fashion. List any vacancies throughout the year and how long it took to replace the position. And now it's Sabrina.
Oh, wow. I get to, oh, wow. Okay.
You're up, girl. You're up.
All right. All right, guys, shake it off. Shake it off. I know it's a lot of information. It's like information overload. So let's go into communication, image, and branding. And I don't know if you guys know why I got this part, but I love image and branding. So, so this benchmark ensures that the network image is consistent and meets standards as set forth by National. Note, network adheres to brand standards as outlined in the brand guide. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And that is on our WCR.org, where you can find that branding guide that will have our Pantone colors, our fonts, and our logos, what to do and what not to do with our logos. So that's something that we'll be sharing later in our breakouts. Also, microsite, we want to make sure that the microsite training is completed by the officers who have admin privileges. And also they have to attend the training. National will verify this. There is on-demand training that is available as well as live training. Microsite is used as the state network's primary communication vehicle with current, timely, and relevant information, including the following benchmarks: current president's welcome message, current strategic partner logos and links, and a list of events held or to be held live or online. Current officer photos and current key network documents are posted. List and then list your microsite here. Networks has a minimum of one social media platform in which timely and brand compliant information is located. National will verify this. So a good platform is Facebook or Instagram. We want to make sure that we have someone that is overseeing that, as well as the microsite, to maintain timely and relevant information and correct branding standards. The network utilizes systemized communication vehicles and an electronic registration platform in order to keep its members informed of activities and meetings. Basically, that would be email, newsletters, MailChimp. And then you want to describe briefly what that communication medium is and the frequency. 3 officers regularly. So this is the roadmap, guys. We want to make sure that at least 3. They say 3, but we want all the leadership to read the roadmap. The National Roadmap newsletter, it's sent bi-weekly by National, and it contains information of what's going on at National. We want to have at least 50% of the officers open and read the roadmap. I'm going to say 100% because there's a lot of relevant information in there. And then also know that National is able to see and verify who has opened the roadmap. And this milestone is probably the easiest one that you will have on here. How easy it is just to click on roadmap, open it up, and then that is a great way to meet one of your certification qualifications. The network has a program that recognizes the success achievements of their members. This could include social media shout outs, press coverage, awards, or other vehicles or programs of recognition. Now, recruitment and retention. This is huge. So recruitment and retention, this benchmark ensures that processes are in place by the state in order to ensure that local networks are recruiting and retaining members in order to have viable networks. It also assesses that the network has a specific statewide strategy coupled with measurable activities that will assist local networks in attracting new members and in keeping existing ones. You know, guys, it's really, recruitment is great, but retention is better. You know, we can recruit 100 members and lose 99 of them. Why not recruit 100 members and keep 99 of them? So think about that. The network maintains a communication and outreach strategy to members at large. The network educates the local network specific to recruitment and retention strategies. And National has some great tools that they are providing to us. And we're going to talk about those in the breakout as well. How many members were recruited? We want to know that. And then what was your member retention rate? Now, if you have not already completed the following, this is what you need. This is what you're going to need to know. Basically, submit your officers to National, sign and submit your affiliation agreement, submit budget to the National liaison, microsite training to be completed, read the roadmap for leadership, renewing members and recruiting members as well. And now we're going to get into the fun part. We are going to join our breakout groups, and I know Jamie's going to start those for us. And what we're going to do in our breakout groups is really come up with some best practices, some things that we can do to make sure that we are leading our local networks to success and helping them complete these benchmarks. By doing so, they will be viable, successful networks that will be able to recruit and retain their members. So with that being said, I'm going to ask Jamie to start our breakout rooms. Each of you will need to choose your breakout room. You're going to go to, oh, well, Carolyn's not here. So I guess 2 breakout rooms. So we have Eastern, Western, and Central. But since Carolyn is not here, I would just ask that what region is Carolyn? Is she's Eastern, right? So everyone in the Eastern region, I say, you know what? You pick a room you want to go into. You either come to Western or you come to Central.
Yeah.
So you decide, but no one go to the Eastern room because Carolyn's not here. So Jamie,
you're gonna be in there all by yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And we don't want you alone. We don't want you by yourself. We want you in there with us. So we can brainstorm and come up with some great ideas to lead our networks to success. So Jamie, if you could please start our breakout rooms.
So just so you know, this has been set up for them to be signed automatically.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then we probably
So
could,
how do we handle that?
then we don't want to do that.
All right.
Well, do
we
you want to
can-
shoot a list of questions to me?
Wait, you want 2 breakout rooms?
Yeah,
Let's
2
do that.
breakout rooms.
All right,
Yeah,
you're gonna
just
have 2
create
breakout
2.
rooms and they're going to choose their room,
Yeah,
okay? And
Okay.
how many minutes do they have for each room?
20 minutes.
Okay, there you go. Here you go.
Jamie's a problem solver. Christine, I'm going to, I'll go into room 1.
Okay,
Oh, it's so strange. It's actually selecting. Oh, that's it. I didn't set this up,
Yeah,
guys. so I'm-
each
Oh.
person should be able to choose their own. I've set it up so each participant can choose their own breakout room.
Oh,
It's not
no.
allowing that. It's actually assigning them. So we're just gonna assign. Well, that's weird.
Yeah, I lost the
Hopefully,
breakout room.
Sabrina- hopefully Sabrina and I will not be in the same room.
I know. We're about to, oh yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. We're gonna
That's
roll with
okay.
this one.
Hey, you know what? That's what we gotta do. Although it looks like everybody, that's so weird. Okay,
Oh,
let's
it does say allow participants to share room.
let's go with that. Jeff, do you want to go in a room?
No, I'm driving right now, so it's just hard for me to be an active
That's fine.
participant.
All right,
Thanks.
sorry. Okay, here we go.
I'm not sure how to pick a room.
I'm working on it, guys. Sorry. For some reason, it's asking me to assign people to a room, so. There's some. Working on it. I've never
Okay.
done it this way, so sorry.
Yeah, that's weird that it didn't let us.
Yeah,
If you click the icon breakout room, you do have the ability to join whichever room you want. I can join either 1 or 2.
oh, you can? Okay, because it's
Yeah,
asking me to
so
assign
the 4
everybody to a
little
room.
dots that say breakout rooms at the bottom of your screen, I think if it's set up like that, you all should be able to select.
Well, if you're not assigned, I'm sending you to a room, so don't be surprised.
Okay.
I'm almost done.
Okay, Christine's in room 1, so
I'm in the
I'm
Rs.
Go to,
Now, Sabrina, you're going to room 2.
yes.
I think I got everybody. Who's left? Rose. Oh, there you are. Okay, Rose got one to a room. I think so. Carrie, I sent you to a room. You're still here?
I was just
There you
stuck.
go. Room
My-
1. I sent you. Did you go? Oh, I think so. Oh, no, Carrie. All right. I think she's out. Okay. Oh, it's just us. Do you want to go to a room, Chris? Okay. So weird. All right, you're muted.
Sorry, how does this work with the recording?
Good. It's still recording. It records us.
Oh, okay. So can we pause it?
I don't know. Can I? Oh, yes. Thank you.
And for the people on the recording, this is part 2 of the segment. We paused it while we did breakout rooms. We'll be beginning again momentarily.
Like your radio voice, Jeff.
It's from listening to podcasts. So
We just, right? There they all are.
Never enough time.
that's good.
You got Sabrina mid-sentence. I'm not sure what she was finishing saying.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Sabrina and Christine, you want to take it back?
Yeah, I must say, Christine, I don't know how your room was, but my room rocked, so. And we have some great things to kind of share of what came out of what came out of our room, of some best practices, because we talked about best practices of how to really help the networks move forward and how to really track to make sure that no network is left behind. And so I have to say, and when I say this, I said the room was phenomenal because they are doing some amazing things. And one of the things in their monthly meetings, we talked about creating that agenda that actually covered the benchmarks every month to make sure that we stay on track. And then also having everything calendared to make sure that all of the benchmarks the deadlines are being met, and that all of the events, the networking events and the educational events are being completed by each of the networks. And a lot of them are using Google Calendar. California is using Team Up, and there's all shared calendars, and we're finding that there's more shared participation for events by using this calendar that's accessible to everyone throughout the state. So I think that those are some really great things that actually came out of the room. And so I was really excited about just, coming up, having a agenda that we all could follow, and having everything on a calendar. And the bottom line is we want to make sure that none of our networks are left behind. And this is a good way to do that. So Christine, I'm going to, I just went all ham on you, but I'll let you talk about what happened in your room, and then we'll have some questions and answers.
Well, it sounds like your room really did rock, and that's awesome. I love that monthly meeting tracking the benchmarks and having a shared calendar. And I think everybody here can absolutely copy that idea. It sounds amazing. Our room, we were kind of going through the various items and how to keep track. We talked about a particular person within not only the state line, of course, that would naturally, I think, fall to the state liaison to really be keeping track of all of the networks and how they are hitting their benchmarks and being able to support them and encourage them along the way. And then also suggesting perhaps that that within the local network, that someone on the local network team take responsibility for being the person who really is filling out this form. This is one of their roles, and maybe the president-elect should be that person. And that was one of the things that we talked about. We talked about notifying your presidents, your local presidents in advance about the networking events, about the national events, the flagship events that they need to be attending, like Elevate tomorrow and Friday, or, mid-year in May or in November. We talked about if your presidents have not attended either the Elevate or watched the Elevate recording, or attended the May event in DC, that, definitely you reach out to them before November to let them know, hey, look, this is a requirement for you guys to get local certification. This is kind of your last shot. Are you going or not? And we also talked about when these local officers are attending national events, particularly making sure that they know where they should be going, what events they should be attending. Because oftentimes, especially for people who this is their first national event, yeah, they go, but then they have no sense of direction as to what they're supposed to be doing. So as the state president can sit down or, go through that with them and say, look, here's the agenda. I'm highlighting here. These are the things that you need to attend, so that there is a sense of direction, and they really are getting some substance and meat out of the time they are away from their business. So those are some of the things that we talked about.
Okay, I love it. Well, we have about 4 minutes left, guys. So we want to answer a couple questions that you may have. And I think you can put them in the chat.
And Sabrina, can I say something?
Yes.
So something earlier at the beginning of the presentation was stated incorrectly, and I want to just correct it, because this is also being recorded. So we want to make sure that anybody that listens to the recording or watches the recording, they understand it as well. So for the state presidents, it's actually question number 2 on the document. And the state presidents are required to attend at least 2 national flagship events, okay? So I want to make sure that you understand that. It was said that only 1 was required, but 2 are required, okay?
Right.
So just to clarify that.
Yeah, and my apologies, that was on me. But there was some conflict between the presentation that we had versus another presentation that we had that said 1. So, I mean, in my opinion, you should go to all of them.
Okay, so there's a comment, ideas for helping locals with retention and recruiting. This is a big one. So guys, National has actually put forth something that's going to help us with that. And that is the new member toolkit. And basically it takes you from A to Z, from when that member first signs up to all of the communication, to all the communications that you have with them throughout the year. Because at the end of the day, people want to feel welcome, they want to feel wanted, they want to feel needed. And this toolkit gives you all those opportunities to touch that new member. We don't want to keep recruiting. We want to maintain the members that we have. We want to recruit, but we don't want to have to recruit to replace. We want to recruit to add to the members that we have. We want to keep our members. So this toolkit is crucial. We want to make sure that we're sharing it with all the local leadership to ensure that they have the tools they need to help with that. I don't see.
If I can add to that, I mean, I
Mhm.
think, Jeff, you and I had a conversation sometime in the past. And you had said to me something to the effect that if a member does not feel engaged, and I'm paraphrasing here, but if a member does not feel engaged within that first year, the likelihood of them renewing and staying on board drops precipitously. So it's getting them to become a member is certainly important, but equally important is engaging them in that first year so that they continue to be a member and they just don't, drop out, because we've all seen that happen.
Okay, so Jeff just added the link into the chat for the toolbox. And then also the toolbox is located on the roadmap. So if you go onto wcr.org and there's on the right-hand side, if you drop down, there's a link for past roadmaps. That toolbox is there. And I know that, I don't want to misspeak, but I know that they're working on putting it actually on the site. But right now the link is in the chat, and then you can also find it on the roadmap. So make sure that you share that with your local leaders. Do we have any other questions? C addition, we need to concentrate those members that have been with us 2+ years and hung on through those. We need to give them more and treat them special. Absolutely, Claudia. And that's it, it's kind of like if you go and you get a new phone, right? You get a better deal if you're a new customer, rather if you're an old customer, then they want to charge you extra for this new phone. Well, when we use the toolkit is not just for new members onboarding. It is for our renewing members. It's for the members that have been here, because there's a lot of tools in there to give them recognition. There's tools in there to engage them, and there's tools in there to highlight them as well. So it's not just about the new member, it's about the members we do have, and we can use that toolkit for them as well.
I love what Pearl Wetzel out of Maryland is saying, that they did the same thing with their strategic partners. I mean, our strategic partners, we also need to be really taking care of and massaging and making them feel like this is a worthwhile organization for them to be a part of. Otherwise, why would they? They need that, everybody's, it sounds bad when you say it, but it's sort of like, what's in it for me? So if you think about that, with regard to your realtor members, and if you think about that with regard to your strategic partners, your job is to convey to them what's in it for them. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, we are at 1:02. We are 2 minutes over. If you guys have questions, Christine and I are available. And when Carolyn is available, we can cover for her until she gets back. But if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Go to WCR.org, hit the roadmap, and then you can find that link if you didn't catch it in the chat. And then also, I just want to thank all of you for being here. We appreciate all that you do to support network excellence. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Have a
all.
great
Thank you.
day and a
Wonderful
great
job,
year.
ladies.